Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to another video of Ink against DSP or Detractor Ink. Or I'm not sure. Detractor Ink is actually a cool name. I do like it a lot. So we're still talking about DSP. We're still doing a DSP video, and this one is actually special. I'm listening to DSP podcast right now. Not podcast, sorry. Detractor. And I want to go back on the side scroller. I believe this was one of my first video, if not my first video, but I want to go back to it. And this is one of the video where I call myself Detractor Inc., but I'm actually pro Phil on this one. Okay, so disclaimer: Phil has done some horrible stuff I know about. Phil has been questionable at the very best. I am aware of it. Why am I on the side of Phil? It's because this interview felt a bit shitty. So what was the side scroller? The side scroller were an old show apparently, which was called something about screws. I'm tipsy. Okay. I'm drunk. Not running anymore. Was it power outage? So I'm hungry. This is a cheat meal. Not a cheat meal, but this is a drunk meal. It's a grilled cheese. There's some Avardi cheese. See? So the side scroller were a revival of an old formula, an old show, right? And it's not because when you look at the pretext of the video, it's weird, but it's not weird. Because DSP did, it sucks, bro. It really sucks. Because, I'm super hungry. DSP gets so many, fuck it, to see. Get so many offer for podcast and interview, and he's always saying no, right? The fact that he said yes to this one, was kind of a goal. Now, what I'm supposed to believe is my reasoning, right? For this is DSP defense video. I'm tipsy. I shouldn't do big videos. Come on. Let me walk up. See, again, the reason why we're doing this video is because I've been watching a lot of Boogie 298 lately, and what a fucking monster, right? And I'm seeing DSP and I'm saying what a fucking monster. However, I don't know. I rather have rage than lies. I rather have rage than pity me, because that's disgusting. But for the side scroller, it was a show that he believed. I believe that he believed that DSP believed that there's OG YouTuber. We just did a shout out for Kid Behind the Camera. There's a lot of and it's kind of cool. We'll talk about it later on. But it was kind of like a almost a self-deployed, a non-self-deployed button, right? So people would respect, if you were an OG YouTuber, you would respect OG YouTuber. You keep things secret, right? Fuck, I'm fat. And okay, I understand. This is why we had a SD card. So yeah, so there was this code between old YouTuber, there was this code between new YouTuber where you don't tell what's happening. It's funny because old YouTube wanted to make it big, so they would protect other YouTubers. So YouTube has this presence of marketing. It's a safe place to invest, right? And side scroller were DSP played the card that, oh, I'm wondering if you're a fan, right? And I'll do you a favor and do it. And my problem with the side scroller, even from the get-go, there was two people. There was Adam and Craig. Craig during the show plays the good cop versus bad cop, right? And DSP only talked to the good cop. Feel good. See, the thing is, Craig, I don't know what was said, but I think he had like an agreement of softball question with DSP. Now, when DSP came in, he saw Adam, he saw the show, and he was like, okay, there's no problem. I do like Craig, so Adam is all good. The friends of my friends are friends. And then Craig went really hard during the whole question. I'm not going to talk about the interview in itself. I'm going to talk about the behind the scene of the interview. And see, GSP is an asshole. I'm not gonna hide it. DSP is a piece of shit. I'm not gonna hide it. But DSP has a code of moral, has a code of conduct. DSP in most cases is he's gonna act honorable. Besides, when you do find him doing something wrong, dude is getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and you think he's not gonna answer. Like, holy shit, dude, what am I gonna do? What am I fucking gonna do? I have to push back, right? We did a video about last week about putting our foot down. We'll never be to the point of DSP, but still. Coming back to the interview, Adam and Craig pushed him, right? Craig was pushing him, Adam was pushing him, but Craig was always there. It really felt like a good cop, bad cop. Craig would place a soft question, Adam would go in on DSP, and even when Adam went in on DSP, Craig would come back and ask the same question in different ways, right? Now, it's weird because DSP took the opportunity to do the podcast thinking, hey, these guys are going to be good with me, so I'll do the podcast. So you're basically cheating a podcast where you think people are going to be... it's going to be... fuck. It's going to be like, okay, well, I agree to do a soft... We'll do an interview, I'll agree to do the interview, but you'll give me soft spot. And okay. People do that, right? They'll say you cannot ask that. There's a bunch of papers, there's a bunch of documents that are signed before an interview. Can't talk about this, and this, which is fine. That's what they do in the media. That's what they do in social media. It is normal. So DSP, I don't know he did that, but there was an agreement that, hey, dude, right? And Craig respected the agreement, but still, Adam would go in weird. Not weird per se. I love fucking Adam because he went in on DSP, right? And there was another way that they brought in Keemstar. And Keemstar, like it or not, he has a good sense of business. Keemstar, you think Keemstar is an asshole, but he wants money. Keemstar would have gave the world to DSP for him to be on the podcast because it'd be a good business. Look at the podcast right now. They're relying on Boogie lying. If it's not for Boogie's lies about faking cancer, which is horrible in itself, thered be no show. Right. That being said, which is an amazing podcast. Shout out to the boys. See, I want to feel like Phil was kind of ambushed, which he was. But Phil made plans with Craig to say, hey, I trust you. Can I trust you? Can I really trust you? Right? And we don't know what happened behind the scene, but I do believe it's not normal. Even if I like you, if I don't do interview, I'm not going to do interview. When I do TikTok Live, I don't have anybody. If I like you, I'm not gonna have you because I've been played in the past, and that's normal. So yeah, long story short, what bothers me about a sidescroller is, first of all, the interview. The interview was a lot of fun, right? And you watch it and you feel bad for Phil because, again, nobody deserves to be ambushed. But then again, it sheds light on a lot of things and nothing that we need to know. So like, okay, well, you guys went in like asshole, but he deserved it, so it's kind of okay, right? But when you act like if you were to plot against DSP, you put yourself at his level. Now, the problem I have with the interview is not even the interview itself, not even the relationship between this DSP and Craig. DSP realized that, oh, and it sucked because the DSP vouched for them. Like, no, they're chill. Because the next day, people are like, no, they made fun of you, dude. And DSP like, no, they're chill. Then you realize that Adam and Craig, for months after months, were banking on DSP, so monetize the hate. Give us money so you don't give it to him. And I found it so disgusting. I found Craig so disgusting because he was like, oh, dude, the money you give here is money we're going to be using to fight DSP. You don't give a shit about DSP. You just want cash. And the reason why this interview feels so shitty, feel absolutely so shitty, is because if you were kind of good people, right? If you were good people, you'd be like, okay. No, the air's a mess today. I had good air when I started the video, which sucks. If you were to say, hey, hey, I'm actually a good guy, right? And I trapped the DSP, but now you have the perfect interview, which is the fact that we cornered him, we ambushed him, we had the perfect interview in the fact that he did say a lot, he did admit to shit. Perfect interview in the fact that we had Keemstar on, which is a big YouTuber facing against Phil. But then you're an asshole at the end. So the whole interview, like, oh yeah, remember that interview? And you never ask who did the interview because they're assholes. So, the interview, the long story short, because that's what we're trying to do, right? Long story short, I do believe the interview was perfect. I do believe the interview was super. Listen, they ambushed him, and nobody deserved to be ambushed once again. But, you went in, and Phil stayed for what? Stayed for 5 hours. You could have left, dude. You could have left. You could have left, and you could have said, "Hey, this is not. I don't feel like you guys are giving me a fair chance. I don't feel like you guys are listening to me. I feel like you guys have preconceived notion about me. I'm gonna leave." And nobody would have said, right? See, the thing with DSP, the documentary with Mike Klum after that. Mike Klum did a documentary on Boogie. Mike Klum wanted to do the documentary on like local, which is a brilliant idea. However, Mike Flum was like, okay, well, fuck it, I'm not gonna do a documentary with this guy. No, I'm sorry, DSP was like, no. And it's sad, I feel bad for Mike Flum. I do feel bad for Mike Flum. Is Mike Flum a perfect human being? No, of course not. Is Mike Flum a asshole? The problem with Mike Flum is he's an interviewer. So you don't really get to see him, you get to see him interview. So you don't know who he is, so you get to know the people that he interviews. See? If you're hiding something, or if you're not being yourself, and you're putting your personality, either you don't have personality, or you're trying to hide it. Do I like Mike Flum? Sure. My problem is he did a documentary with DSP, and at the middle, DSP said no. See, people were mad that he didn't say yes. He said yes. He gave it up. The people that were mad, right? But the people that I'm listening to that were mad to him were gonna be using the documentary against DSP. See, the DSP is checkmated. DSP is checkmates. He's in a position with whatever he does, he's fucked. Whatever he does, he's in a position where people are gonna make fun of him. So he does have this small but very loyal bunch of people that support him, and the best thing to do for him is just to continue with that group of people and just push on and push on and push on, and hopefully a fashion or an other is going to be in a position where he survives. You see, there's the whole computer saga that we're going to do after this. Yeah, it sucks. There's so much to say, but I don't want to. There's other videos to make, so yeah. So for the interview, ambush wasn't fair, but still accepted. The ambush wasn't fair, but we learned a lot. Interview wasn't fair, but it's not fair because of the way those guys acted after that. Listen, to me, Adam was going in rough, right? And I'm like, dude, like I understand that you don't like the guy, but if Phil walks off, you guys have nothing. You have nothing. What are you doing, man? And the worst one after it was Craig. I listened to what a couple episodes of sidescroller. The first one, it was understandable. It was a day after the interview, and they were like, "Oh, monetize the hate." I get it. The next one was like a month after. They were still like, "Oh, monetize the hate." Proof Phil that we're okay. Dude, this is not worth it. This is not a good business sense. There's this thing in politics, right? This thing in politics where they're saying, "Oh, this person didn't win, they lost. The other person lost." Sidescroller didn't win that time. GSP lost. And that sucks. Anywho, know that I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Sorry I'm a bit drunk, but hey.